Hello, everyone, and welcome to Coffee Talk. And I'm here with the co-host, my dad, Mr. Frank DeStefano. Hello, Dad.
Hello, son.
And my name is Arthur DeStefano. We welcome everyone that is tuning in. Today's title, Dad, we have titled it From Out of the Pit. And such an interesting title. And what are we talking about, though, Dad? What is coming from out of the pit? Out of the pit of what?
Well, if you have an addiction,
Mm-hmm.
or it don't have to be drugs, it could be almost anything
Yeah.
that is addicting. Like people overwork,
Yeah.
that's an addiction.
Yeah.
And people do other things that is an addiction. So how do you bring yourself out of it is that you have to go to plan A and follow that first step before you go to B.
Mm.
And if you don't get out of that pit, you're not going to achieve nothing. You're just staying there. Oh, look at me. Oh, look at this. Look at that. Oh, that person has this. That person has that.
Right.
And you don't have it. Be grateful what you have. Because
Yes.
the purpose is God gave you what you need.
Yes.
Not for greed, for what you need. If He puts food on the table, gave you a roof over your head, gave you anything, He did it. I mean, you helped, but He has a way for you to walk.
I think what you're talking about is being content, being happy in that moment. And, when we talk about addiction can be, a lot of people have an addiction, as whatever it may be, as a way of an escape from their problems. And the problem, though, with an addiction is it's only numbing the pain.
Well, I would
The
know
issues
that.
will still be there.
I would
Go ahead,
know
Dad.
that because that's what I did. I went to bars, I went drinking, I went clubbing, I went drugs. I did everything to heal my pain. But guess what? When your money runs out, nothing's there. But now you have the bills, you have no food, you're just barely paying rent.
Yeah.
So you have to actually hit bottom to get out of the pit before you realize, what have I done?
I think you're right. And when you say you have to hit bottom, you're talking about you have to be broken. And you have to literally look at what's going on. Because, when you talk about going to clubs and doing other things, and you're surrounded by people that are dealing with the same issues. And, not everybody has your best interests at heart.
No.
There is a story in the Bible, the prodigal son, and I'm just going to give you a layman's term of it. The prodigal son, he wanted his inheritance from his father. Well, everybody knows somebody like that, but he wants his inheritance from his father, and he takes his inheritance, goes, and he lives a prodigal life, which means it's like what you're saying about going to clubs, and I don't know if they had clubs back in biblical times, but he lived it sinfully.
They did have drink places.
Yeah, he lived his life sinfully. He didn't use that money in a productive way, but he used it to party with friends, selfishly. And of course, when you have all this money and you have all this, means, you have quotation friends, people that are not looking out for you. And once the young man's money was gone, so was his friends. And here he is, destitute and alone, no one there for him. He goes and he becomes a farmer's helper, and he feeding pigs and stuff. And there wasn't even food for him. The pigs ate all the food. And then in the end of the story, he goes back to his father, ashamed for how he lived his life. But his father accepted him and loved him. And that's kind of like, if we look at it that way, we're looking at it how God sees us. God sees where the boy had to go be broken, basically, and then come back to the Father. And that's what you're talking about. You have to be broken, and God will accept you back. Dad, how long were you dealing with the addictions that you were dealing with? How long was that?
22 years.
That's a long time.
So I know my body has damage.
from what you were doing.
Yes. But you know what brought me out of it is that I went to God. And I
Yes.
said, I'm going to end up dying. And if I keep going the way I wanted to go. But I know the devil was tapping on my shoulder saying, you're having fun. Go ahead. Go party. God's like, do you really want to go this way? Or do you want to go with that way? So I chose God before I chose the devil, saying I have to straighten my ass up. So it was like really sad because we're talking about other things too. We're talking about loneliness. People that are alone.
That's going to be another great title we're going to be doing, is talking about people that are the forgotten ones.
But don't feel like you're alone. There is somebody out there that does love you, and you're not alone. You might not even know who is caring for you.
Yes.
Because they're unspoken, but they do care for you.
God puts people in our lives that, we might not even notice what they do for us, but God will put people in your life to help you get out of the pit.
Yes.
And, like you were talking about, the devil's tapping you on your shoulder. He's not going to show you the damage that is being done to you. And it's, of course, not just drug addiction. There's sex addiction. There's food addiction. There's, work addiction. There is so many different things.
Cigarettes.
Yeah.
Soda. Don't matter what it is. It could be the littlest
anything. Well, even if looking at TV for so long or playing video games for so long, there are those are times in your life that we waste away. I mean, it's okay to watch TV once in a while or play video once in a while,
if you
but
have time to watch TV, you have time to read a Bible.
That is true. Because go ahead.
If you could find a purpose that you have to play that game and push God aside, He's going to push you aside when you go on Judgment Day. Because I don't know you.
Yeah, because you gave Him no time.
Right.
And we are granted 24 hours in a day. That's all we have is 24 hours. And with that amount of time, if we use it wastefully, instead of, putting it towards, like you're saying, giving time to God and in prayer and in studying and, making yourself healthier spiritually. And you do feel healthier when you spend time with God.
Well, yeah.
Instead of, putting things that would harm you instead. So,
and I should know
go ahead, Dad.
I should know about the situations because I'm suffering from insomnia. And let me tell you, God better be walking right alongside of me because nights are scaring me to death. That I might not be able to sleep. I don't know what's going on and all this stuff. But I know God has a plan, and I have to faith up that He has a plan for me. So if I get 4 hours sleep, 5 hours, whatever, I still believe God has a purpose for me.
And I think we covered this in the last episode. If y'all have not checked out, please check out the last episode we did, which is called Getting Over the Hurdle. And of course, we talked about Dad dealing with insomnia. And it seems like God's using what you're dealing with to help someone else too. Because in that episode, we talked about how you helped a friend of yours dealing with this. And when you helped him out, how did it make you feel?
I felt like I have a purpose. And I think that was an important thing for me to feel like you have a purpose here to be on earth, that you're not alone. You have a purpose. God gave you a purpose. And that day He brought me to help somebody else to do what He would have walked and did.
Agreed.
So I will never question the Lord Jesus on anything that happens because He's doing it for a reason.
He's doing it for your good.
Right.
And that's the thing, God works everything out for the good. I mean, you may feel like you're going through a really rough time and you feel like you have no answers. You don't know what to do. But God is working everything out for your good. The first thing to do is turn to God. That's the first step you can do. And when we talk about addiction, one of the first things to do also is to admit, I have a problem. And that's when you get broken, you know. When was it for you, Dad, that you just said, I've had enough?
I think the day I overdosed, well, somebody did overdose me.
That does happen too.
I passed out in the club, and I found out who people really are. They threw me out in the gutter.
Oh my word.
And took my clothes, they took my money, they took everything, and I was ready to die. I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I was in a hospital getting my stomach pumped, in a coma a little bit, and it was just bad. I knew it then. Enough is enough. Because I was getting tubed, I was getting drugged, I was getting this and that and that and that. And I started forgetting things, and I said, no.
Yeah.
You know, I had to hit that bottom and see what had happened. But my mother was there for me, because she went to the place and demanded what happened to me.
Right.
And it was just a bad deal. She sued and got money and all that stuff, because they treated me like I was just garbage.
And if that didn't happen to you, though, of them throwing you out and things like that, do you think you still would have been in the dark? If God didn't open your eyes?
No, I think I was getting ready over the scene. You start realizing your money's going to nowheres.
Yeah.
You're not investing it. You're just drinking.
Right.
And that drink isn't going to pay your bills.
No.
And, you know, the bartender's getting rich and you're not.
But I think when you were talking about where they threw you out and you woke up outside and it was just like...
I wasn't outside. I was in a hospital.
Oh, in the hospital. But when you woke up, you were like, okay, something has to change. And you're right. You're talking about, like, money-wise, people waste money.
They're not there for you.
Yeah.
When you don't have it.
Right.
But boy, when you have it and you want to buy them drinks, they're your best friend.
It's like the prodigal son again. He was surrounded by people that did not want to do good to him. They wanted to do harm to him.
That's what people were doing.
Yes. That is so true.
When they start slipping things in your drink.
Yeah.
When you go to the bathroom and you have to walk into the bathroom with your drink, there's a problem.
Yeah.
When you start thinking about it. And, you know, there was I had a lot of tragedies in my life.
Yeah.
People read my story and they're like, how are you alive?
Right.
Because I went through young to old. And the people can't believe. They said I should write a book.
Yeah. Because
you are a survivor and there's a reason God kept you here all that time you had. So I believe I got out of the hole.
And was the drugs there as a numbing thing for you for the thing that you've dealt with? But I remember you told me once, because we've had a podcast before that we talked about addiction, and sadly all the recordings are gone. I wish they weren't, because they were really good. But I remember you telling me that even though the things numbed the pain, when you got out of it, the problem was still there. It didn't go away.
Oh no. They were like devils. They kept saying, come on, come out, go out. Oh, let's go out. And you have to say, no, I'm staying home. You have to start making decisions. And then they used to come over to my place and try to bring the party to my place. And I said, enough is enough. You know, it was getting crazy. And I said, this isn't me.
Yeah.
That's not what God wanted me to be.
Exactly.
So I changed my whole wraparound. And then I met Fran. And she says, the only way you're going to get out of this is if you move out of this state.
Wow.
Because she said, you're going to die here. So no matter what you do, you're in an area that you should not be in.
That's
so
true.
She says, let's move to West Virginia.
Where nothing ever happens.
And she said, we'll be watching you.
Yeah.
And that's where we stayed, and that's where I cleaned up, and not even thinking about it no more. I don't want it. I don't want to drink. I don't want nothing.
You're done with it.
Yes.
And I know I said nothing ever happens, but something always happens. But I understand what you're talking about, where you literally have to move out of the situation you were in, because if you stay in a toxic area, eventually it's going to consume you. And you had to literally move.
I knew friends here that lived in Charlestown, and they said, "Oh, I'll just move to Martinsburg." Too close. You could take a bus here and get what you want.
Yeah.
If your friends are going to be anywhere in your range, you have to move away.
Exactly. You have to get away from the area, because not everyone is a friend that's there looking out for you. Now, God, like we said before, God is going to put people in your life that are there for you.
Yes.
Not there to help your habit, but to help you overcome that, to where you can be free from that. And I tell you what, my friends, Dad is changed. Dad has changed from the way he used to be. And I give all the credit to God and to the credit to the people God has put in his life. And, Dad, you're a living witness of how God can change a life.
I mean, I don't question, but I wonder, like my disease now with the brain.
Dealing with insomnia. And things.
I mean, I panic around 10 o'clock and I have to take medicine. Is it going to work? Is it going to work? And I feel like a burden sometimes, because you try to stay up, Mom tries to stay up.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's going to happen with my body. And that's the only thing I have a problem at night.
Yeah.
But I leave it in God's hands. I say a prayer and I tear and saying, "Please help me. Please let this go away." And in that time.
Well, you're doing the right thing. I mean, you're not giving in.
No.
And saying, "Well, God did this to me." No.
I won't ever.
You're saying, "God, help me," and you're stepping out in faith, like Peter did when he was on the boat and Jesus was walking on the water. Peter was the only one that stepped out in faith, the only disciple that said, "Lord, if it is you, call me and I will come." And of course, Jesus said it. Peter walked out, but he stepped out in faith, walking on the water. Now, the problem that happened to Peter, he looked around, he saw all the waves and everything, and he doubted. And that's a problem a lot of us do, is we doubt. But with that doubt, he still said, "Lord, save me." He remembered, I can call out and Jesus will help me. And Jesus did. And, he did the right thing. And like what you're doing, you're saying that you're going to God and looking for guidance. That is the best thing to do.
I mean, before all this went on,
yeah,
I was thinking about suicide.
Yeah.
And it was really getting bad. I almost jumped in front of a car with my son here. And he said, "What's going on? What are you doing?" I said, "I'm just tired." You just feel tired of your body. And you're like, nothing's happening. But then I looked up to the sky. I says, "That's not what God wants. He needs me here." And that's what brought me to stop the suicide thoughts and everything else. That's what brought me here now.
And I think with the suicide thoughts, I think that's the devil harking on you, and you can't be in your right state of mind and say, "Oh, I want to kill myself." You can't be. That's the devil working on someone. Because I remember Mom told me when I was younger, life is precious and it's a gift from God. And to take that gift away is a slap in God's face. Now, I understand there are people that have had brain injuries and the logical thinking is gone and people do kill themselves, and it is a very sad thing. But again, life is precious and we should remember that. And if we see, I don't think we notice people, I don't think we really look into someone's life and seeing what's going on. And like some people at work, I don't know really what's going on behind the scenes in their life, why they're addicted to this or whatever. I don't know. But then I need to pray for them and to reach out to them and say, if there's anything I can do to help you get out of this, because we should not have to be slaves to Satan anymore.
Well, no.
But like you said before, Dad, people have to hit rock bottom before they can reach up. But we got to be there to help them.
It's hard. And like I said on the other episode, people don't understand when people have insomnia. They don't realize what goes on with your body. Your heart starts going.
Yeah.
And your brain starts going. You start fading.
Yeah.
And I mean, I went to a doctor already, and they already told me that when you have insomnia, you have a year to live.
Mm.
And that, to me, was a blow in my soul, because I'm like, oh my God. Like, I wasn't ready for that. They said, your body just cannot take any more of that stress. So I'm dealing with a lot in my brain right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm leaving it up to God. But I have to look at what's going on too. My wife wanted to make me make a will already.
Yeah.
She wants to get everything prepared. And it's sad. It is really sad, because I'm leaving things I love that I cannot control now.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But the good thing, though, is that you are putting your hands in your arm. I'm trying to describe something. I messed up. Whatever. I'm human. But you're putting your faith, that's what I'm trying to say, in God.
Yes.
So if something happens, I don't like to wish things to happen that I don't want to happen. But if your focus is upon the Lord and you're getting right with the Lord, because honestly, none of us know when our last day will be. None of us. So the best thing to do is to have faith in God, and you'll be home with God.
It's like the doctor, she doesn't help me at all. And she tells me the most negative things, like, oh, you're going to get a blood clot, or you're going to get aneurysm because of insomnia.
Mm-hmm.
And she tells me, oh, if you sleep a little bit, that's not insomnia. So I'm not giving you any medicine. But I'm like, your body is fading.
Yeah.
It can't go no more because it can't rebuild.
Right.
But she don't understand, because, see, it didn't happen to her. But if it happened to her, she would understand.
I understand what you're saying, because people that with insomnia eventually do get some sleep out of exhaustion. You can't go, 24/7, 7 days out of the week, no sleep. Eventually your body is going to crash.
Well, that's what's bad about doing that, because your heart and everything goes with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just looking ahead of the road, and it's in his hands.
We're on our final 2 minutes, Dad, for our show, and I would just like you to, for those out there that are dealing with addiction, not only just drug addiction, but any other type of addiction, what can they do, like, to get out of the pit from your advice?
There is help out there.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to make the first step to go to get help. And number one, pray at night saying, please help me get out of this rut that I'm in. Tomorrow is another day. Please let me do that first walk. And you'll find it. Yeah, it's going to be tough. You're going to go with withdrawals. You're going to go through a whole bunch of things going on. But don't look at liquor. Go look to God and keep praying.
Right.
Because that's a cop-out if you start doing the drugs again and start doing... Because you're hurting your body.
Exactly.
And you could do other things to do. Go for a walk. Go to a park.
Mm-hmm.
Go meditate. There's things to do.
Detox yourself.
Yes, you have to detox.
So good. And we're now on our final seconds, and we are going to have a 1-800 number up on the video for those that are dealing with addiction. And there is help out there, my friends. We just look for it, and God is always there.
Oh, yes.
We are here. And Dad can speak from experience of what he's dealt with. And if you would like to reach out to him, you can email us at forallthingschristian@gmail.com. And anything else, Dad? You're on your last 20 seconds.
No. If there's anything I could do, I'll be more than help, because I did it all. So I could talk out of my voice.
Thank you, everyone, for watching and listening. God bless you. We'll see you next time on Coffee Talk. Bye,
God
Dad.
bless.
That's it?
Yep.
We done.